Hi, I would just request a quick show of hands or some gentle nods to my question. So the question goes as, what, who all here are afraid to look into the mirror, afraid of what they might see? How many of you have hesitated looking into the mirror? Have you? Okay, thank you for your response. So now, what if I told you your mirror is not telling the whole truth? Your mirror is telling lies. Hello, good morning KPRIT. This is Dr. Nina Apra. So the mirrors are perpetually deceitful. They just show a pixel of your story. But then I'll tell you how you need to rewrite your own story. I'm sure you will. So first, I would like to take you to a ride. Ready for the ride? I'll take you to view the world through a doctor's lens, through an anesthesiologist's lens. So we, the anesthesiologists, have to use the power of emotional intelligence, but also under pressure. So in the high-stakes operating room, we are using the mirror neuron mindfulness, a technique in which our brain syncs with the patient's unspoken fear. You know that we are the unsung heroes. We put the patient to sleep and our motto is, we care when you are unaware. It's okay if we are the unsung heroes, but we are understanding your unsaid pain. And this we do with the use of our clinical judgment and the technology. So there is one technology, one sort of lens that is called the virtual reality mirror. It's called a VR lens. We integrate it with the physical and the physiochemical parameters like the heart rate, the blood pressure, the oxygen saturation, the carbon dioxide output, and also with some clinical signs like spurts of sweat on your forehead or the tears rolling down your eyes or some jerky movements of your body when you are unconscious. Because the unconscious patient is still feeling discomfort and is still feeling the pain, but he is unable to tell you. It's the anesthetist's job to calm down the patient, to take away the pain when he wakes up, and to give a calm environment and a calm duration to the surgeons to operate upon. We are also the ICU intensivists. There also we use this virtual reality mirror and integrate it with our physical parameters. So this is right through a doctor's lens. Have you heard of a first-person mirror? We, during our induction phases, tied small cameras around our waists or over our foreheads to record the day's events. And later on, after the day, we used to view that and could learn from our mistakes. But let me tell you, this was painful, very, very painful to watch yourself with your voice shaking and your hands trembling. But then okay, we learned from our mistakes. So growing up, I was considered a strange girl, a girl whose ambitions and dreams were too unrealistic. And the world said that they cannot be realized. Okay, at times I was taken aback by the world's comments and I felt stuck. But later on I realized that, oh, it's okay. I can move on. Over time, I realized that I had to rewrite my story through my perceptions, through my lenses. At that time, back then, I would come home and look into the mirror and found my image unacceptable. Like many of you found your image unacceptable, not enough, too fat, too old, too different. And that's quite normal. There are many new innovations in the mirror technology. There is one haptic mirror. There are a set of haptic gloves that vibrate on compassion. There is this virtual reality mirror that I talked about. There are certain motivational mirrors. self-affirmation mirrors, AI mirrors, and then one very important one which we doctors use is the patient wall mirror. In the patient's waiting rooms, we have those cameras, and through them we are watching upon them, and we get to learn a lot about the patients even when they have not told you their complaints. I'll take you to a set of stories. I was a girl who was bright and chirpy, grew up to be a doctor, and I was happy. My father wanted me to be a doctor, and I became a doctor. Okay. Later on, I realized in my work field that there were several times that I was discriminated. I was isolated, and I had to suffer a lot of setbacks and pain. One such opportunity was, that's not an opportunity. One such story of discrimination goes as, I was a COVID warrior. I was a COVID warrior, COVID care center's main doctor during the pathetic COVID times. All of us remember those times, and they were terrible. So, okay, I took care of the patients. We could manage to save some. We could not manage to save many. And after the center closed, my husband and I contracted COVID. And we were quite serious. And it was then that I saw the real face of many of our colleagues who were the doctors. And that's a very sorry tale to say. We were badly discriminated even after we returned non-infectious. People stopped coming to our place. People even stopped calling me on the phone. They avoided us even when we rejoined work. That was painful. But yes, that happened. The second time this happened was when I contracted advanced pulmonary tuberculosis some 3 years back. As soon as people learned that I was diagnosed with tuberculosis, some of them snapped their ties with me. I got treated. I returned to my job after 15 days of the sick leave. I had done non-infectious only after 5 days of the treatment. TB can be cured, and one turns non-infectious as soon as the person starts taking the medicines. But again, I was isolated. I was neglected, I was avoided, and people stopped calling me to the meets, to the conferences, to the parties. I spent tearful nights. Somehow I reconciled. Then, years later, a couple of years later, I am still suffering from the drug reactions of those very powerful drugs, very strong drugs that healed my tuberculosis, but then those drug reactions brought me scars over my body, some skin lesions. People began discriminating and staying away from me even more. Even those who knew that these were just allergies, these were not infectious, and I would not cause them harm, they stopped even sitting beside me. And would you imagine that people even moved their bags off the seat next to me? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the pain? And can you imagine how tough it might have been for me to hold my tears? But I did that. I'm strong. And I must pat my back for that. And then, to avoid those glares and stares, what I started doing, okay, I should not have done that, but what I started doing, I pulled some of my hair to my face to hide these scars over here. I started wearing full-sleeved clothes so that people don't look at those small marks, those harmless little marks, so that they don't switch seats, and so that they don't ask me strange questions like, how does your family eat the meal you cook with these hands? Don't your patients run away from you? And how does your husband manage to stay in the same room in which you are staying? How do your housemates still come and work at your home? I didn't want to answer these questions, not because they were making sense or they were nonsense. I wanted to reclaim my worth. I wanted to stay at peace. I wanted to be myself. I did not want to be answerable to anyone and everyone. And why should I? Why should I explain the world that these are harmless? And I am a doctor. I am a sensible person. I heal people. I won't infect people. I'm not here to cause you harm. So, what were these? These were the views of the society because they were viewing me through their lens, which was already clouded by their insecurities. Their lenses were blurred. They were seeing themselves, they were not seeing me actually. I had to rewrite my story myself, and I repeat that, and I'm doing that. So then, have you heard of a memory lens? People say, dwell in the present, don't visit the past. But I would say, at times, you need to revisit the past because these memories can act as your launch pad. These can act as the springboards where you can improve upon your mistakes. You can revisit the perceptions and can rewrite your own narrative. So, as I told you, I was a naughty little girl who hated sports. Strange? Yeah, I still don't like to play and I don't like to watch any sports. Rather, in school, what I would do, I would rush to the library, hide in one corner, and read Agatha Christie or Enid Blyton, or sit with those encyclopedias or my favorite, the Reader's Digest. People would hunt me down and they would drag me to the field and make me run, and I would hate them for making me run. I was totally not a sports person. Then I grew up to be a doctor. I was doing well. Somewhere within me, there was a void. Why? Because I wanted to pursue my post-graduation. I could not do that at that point in time because we had joined our job immediately after our internship and we were married. I had a little toddler to handle. I was juggling with work and life and I was trying to balance that. After my son left for high school, I got an opportunity to restart my studies. I sat back. I appeared for the NEET PG entrance. I failed terribly. Yes, I failed. I secured 25 marks. I can't even share out of how much were these marks, perhaps out of 700 or 800. I got these 25 written in a very neat and clean white set of paper, and it was in a very nice white envelope, and they very honorably sent me this set of marks. My husband also had got similar marks, but then he was happy, he was not disappointed. I was badly disappointed. I wept for about 15 days, not more. Just for 15 days, I was in shock. And then there was nobody to support me and say, you can restart. I restarted. I am my motivator. So I said no. The world is sarcastic. Everybody is saying, you can't make it at this stage. My sister said, what will you achieve? You're already a medical superintendent. My mother said, your family will suffer. When your son will come back home, who will cook samosas and dosas for him? My husband said, okay, try, but I don't think you need to give a second try. I told myself, and I told him also, he's here. I told him, I'll prove all of you wrong. And I'll slap all of you on your face. Not the literal slap, but I'll slap you with my grades, with my success. He said, okay, oh, you want to slap people, that's why you are studying. You don't want a PG degree. I didn't want to answer him back. I kept on studying. And this time I succeeded. I bounced with a bang. I got admission in anesthesiology in the prestigious institute of our nation, the Aligarh Muslim University. And I finished my PG degrees. I secured the first grade in the PGs. I competed with the students who were in their 20s, and I was in my 40s. I was 41 then. Okay, I returned to my work. Then I was working as an anesthesiologist. I enjoyed that. Still, there was something uh, vacant, some emptiness within me. What was that? I wanted to write books. I was always a writer. I would write small blogs, some snippets, and post them here and there or note them down in some diaries and forget. But then now that I had got a mentor from social media and she was teaching people how to self-publish their books, I was on track and then I had my content ready. I self-published my books and this happened a year back. Since then, I have published some 6 books that stood as bestsellers for some time. I want to do more, but I have some work responsibilities and some time crunch, but okay, I'll do that. I'll keep writing. Then, as I pursued this journey, I again was feeling incomplete. That was because I wanted to realize one of my big dreams to reach the TEDx stage, the huge stage. I started endeavoring toward it. And in March 2025, a couple of months back, say some 5 months back, I got my first TEDx opportunity. And yes, this is my second one. So people, now I want to give you some mirror missions. What are they? Name your mirror lie. Try to record them, try to do some journaling, share those, and then choose your story each morning. And I would like to tell you that tomorrow, when you look at your image or in your phone screen, remember to ask yourself, who am I if the mirror is telling a lie? And is it time to switch the lens? Thank you.